One of my first objectives when I became manager of the Botanic Gardens in the late 90s was to reduce the amount of spraying that happened at the Botanic Gardens, particularly on crops such as roses. We put a lot of sprays onto them. 25 times a year we would spray with up to 4 different chemicals. And well, I was very, very concerned about that, particularly for the health of my staff. So when we stopped, it did evoke quite a reaction, to say the least. I did cop a lot of flack, but I knew it was the right thing to do. The argument was that roses would not be able to be grown in Auckland without spraying. Well, just look at this gorgeous rose here and how healthy the foliage is. And you can see that it is possible to grow roses to a very good standard without the use of chemicals. Gardening is about health. It is about creating sustainable, enjoyable environments. And so spraying shouldn't have to be a part of that. And 20 years ago we stopped spraying, and that was a real milestone. The interesting outcome was that our plants are healthier now than they were when we sprayed. It's been a huge learning curve for us. We're very proud we don't spray, and it's great, I think, for visitors to come here, look at a plant, and what they see is what they get. If they grow that plant at home and they don't spray it, it'll be just like the plant we have here. So has our no spraying regime worked? Well, here's evidence that it has. Look at this rose flowering prolifically, and look at that foliage, just so glossy and clean. So how do you create a successful rose garden without spraying? Well, first of all, careful selection of roses. Make sure that you get the very best for Auckland. You can get that from our website, Botanic Garden website, or you can from our visitor centre get little advisory leaflets that'll give you good recommendations. Keep enriching the soil. So, for example, this soil here had compost worked in before it was planted, and look at that beautiful, rich topsoil. As David Attenborough once famously said on one of his programs, "Here in the palm of my hand are more living organisms than there are humans on the planet." So again, that's a benefit of not spraying. You're not harming those organisms. Use good fertilisers such as blood and bone, and we use Pacific Biofert, is very, very good. Also mix your roses up with other plants. Don't just have roses. And as you can see in this garden, we have native plants, just something that keeps the roses away from each other, and that stops the spread of any disease that might eventuate. I think one thing that has to be accepted if you're not going to spray your plants is that your plants won't be perfect, but they will be very healthy, and the whole garden will be healthy, and the trade-off's worth it. You might get the occasional spot. You might even get the occasional aphids on some of the soft new growth, but they're fine if they're in very small numbers. In fact, they're quite an important part of the whole food chain. I mean, aphids are a superfood for other beneficial organisms, so you don't want them to totally disappear. You want an abundance of all sorts of organisms. And when you get enough organisms in an ecosystem, both on the aerial parts of the plant and in the soil, the good guys basically take care of everything. They're unpaid volunteers doing a wonderful job on your behalf. All you've got to do is mulch, fertilise, irrigate occasionally, not too often. You look after them and they will pay you back big time. If you come to the Botanic Gardens and you see a plant that you like, then you know that that plant is going to do for you what it's doing for us. Because we're not spraying it, we're not pampering it even. We're basically giving it good conditions, but allowing it to look after itself. That's what a healthy plant should do. And that's what contributes to a successful and very healthy garden.